us in the next 2 following Fridays. The announcement will be posted shortly. Today we will have Dr. Chunmei Yao from University of North Carolina at Pembroke. She will talk about factors related to student retention and success for first-generation students. We all know this is a very important topic in the IR field. The presentation will last about 40 to 45 minutes and followed by the 15 minutes question and answer period. Now we will have Dr. Yao to have her presentation. Thank you all.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Hello?
I think everybody muted, so you can start.
Okay. Hi, this is Chunmei from UC Pembroke. Today my presentation is focused on factors related to student retention and success, a study of a first-time, full-time, first-generation student. This is a project I worked with a professor in our business school, Dr. Chunmei. He's not available today, so I will present our project. We're going to have a brief introduction and how we view this research project as using our concept framework and what kind of methodology we use and our data analysis and major findings and conclusions for further study. UC Pembroke is a very diverse institution. It's established in 1887. And currently we have 41 undergraduate degree programs, 17 graduate programs, and 3 licenses. More males than female, more female students than male students. 62% they are female, and the majority are full-time students, 75. And we are regional institution. Close to 70% of our students are in-state, in North Carolina. And we are minority serving institution, particularly for American Indians, 50% of them from American Indians, and 35% around they are African Americans, and plus 5% they are Hispanic. And we are ranked as the most diverse institution in the South. Our diversity index is 0.69. In addition, for our in-state undergraduate student, more than 54% they are from lower income families. In other words, they are Pell recipient. And also 75% of our in-state undergraduates, they are from rural area in North Carolina. I'm going to give you more information later about this.
Enter your attendee ID number, followed by pound. If you do not know your attendee number, press pound to continue.
This is our past 17 years, our enrollment. By undergraduate blue line, graduate orange line, and red line is overall. In the past 7-8 years, we stuck in the 62 to 65,000, 60 to 6,500 in this range. The issues and challenges we've been facing in the past 5 years. I've been working in this institution, I think, almost 3 years. Okay, I think it's better. We have a lot of issues about our retention and graduation rate. If you see this chart, on the top blue line, it's our retention, 4-4 retention rate for MD freshmen. The orange line is our four-year graduation rate, green 5-year graduation rate. Student who started at Pembroke and graduate from Pembroke. The red line is the student, cohort student, 5 years graduation rate, they graduate nationwide. The reason I put here is because our university start tracking in the next 5 years strategic planning, start tracking graduation rate nationwide. They use a 5 year as an indicator. And the second reason is we have a lot of high percentage of transfer out. Particularly for freshmen and seniors, for 6-year time period, our transfer out is close to 30%. It's very higher. I think a majority part of them they also dropped off. Our freshmen, before they came, usually in the UNC system, we have 16 colleges and universities. UNC Pembroke is in the lower quartile. And our freshmen, when they came in, we offered the COP College Opportunity Program, also the summer bridge programs to try to improve their academic performance before they started in the first fall. In the past several years, we lost the funding from our general administration, so we do not offer summer bridge program anymore, only offer the COP. And also, in the system, the UNC system developed a new indicator factor they call the degree efficiency. Where's my screen? Called a degree efficiency. They measure undergraduate degree accreditation awarded by per 100 student FTE. So they use U60 average to track this information. So below is the formula. Usually our UNC system average score is 22.5. Our UNC Pembroke is only 18.1. So there's a huge gap there. So basically they just want to graduate more students within 6 years.
Okay.
So, and also we started several initiatives. The first one, we restructure our advising and tutoring system. Usually they are separate under 2 different leadership, and then we put all those advising, tutoring, and student support under one umbrella. We called Center for Student Success. And also there's some leadership change in admission, advising, tutoring, and also the institution try to build they call it university college to bring all the first year students, including new freshmen, new transfers under one umbrella, and bring all the one-shop services to them. Additionally, we get a student success grant from our UNC system. So the Center for Student Success, they're going to add more student coaches there, and 3 math supplemental instructors, and also for new English composition faculty position. So we found that like English composition 1050, 1060, those courses are highly attributed to student success and retention, I think, and also the math supplemental courses. So added more faculty position and coaches in those areas, I think gonna give students more help. We also, regarding the technology part, we also try to choose something can help us to predict or give us information earlier before student join us. So there's 3 parts of technology we take a deep look. They called Rapid Insight, and EAB, Education Advisory Board, and the PAR framework. The Rapid Insight is they have 2 software, one called Vera and another one called Analytics. The Vera is it's kind of reporting to try to manipulate and pull out all the data information from the banner system. Analytics is it's kind of like a statistical tool to run the information we pull out and can assign each student a percentage of attrition probability score. In other words, when you use 3 years data to run a cohort FTFT freshman and use the model to run the coming new freshman, you can assign each coming student a percentage probability of attrition. So we put them into 10 groups. So this is, you see, we put them a high risk student. medium risk student and a lower risk student. So because the limited the scarce resources, so we can focus more on, like this is we did in the fall 2016. We try to focus more on the group 3, 4, 5, and we have more staff and resources. We're going to choose back and switch more on the 1 and 2. We think it's a majority from 1 and 2. They won't come back anymore. So this is from Rapid Insight. Another one we started in this spring is called EAB, Student Success Collaborative. This one is more interactive. For example, see this student I showed here. You see the red dot here is high risk student predicted by the system. We can see his course grade DFW. There's which course is a DFW, and here which one they repeated the course the grade before, and which one he repeated is successfully, and also how many withdraw, and his current cumulative GPA. All those information can help us to decide it. And on the right side, I didn't copy here. The advisor can contact him and put a note there, and they can work with him to try to see how we can help. Also, if student wants to switch a major, and also you can find from the system using his current information to see what's the best, maybe top 3, the major he could be successful based on history, the other students' pattern. Another unique characters is from EAB is that they run something they call institutional report. They can tell you like a graduate rate by first term GPA, by course, by certain course for certain major. So this is it's very useful, but also it's very expensive too. The third one we take a deep look is called PAR framework. This one is actually the same. They use a 3-year data to run predictive modeling and try to find what kind of factors relate to student retention success. The things they use, they do not use like your own institution. They use multiple institutions' data together to run those factors. The Unix for this software is called interventions matrix. They work with your team, your institution to build a team to work with them together. So once you have identification, like we want something, we work on COP program, and then they can send you, okay, what kind of factors related to student success in this program, and then you develop your action plan, the 1, 2, 3, what you want to do in the fall, in the spring, and they track what's the progress for those students. So this is the part. The research question we did for this particularly project is we want to see what factors significantly can predict first-year retention and also 6-year graduation for our first-time, full-time freshmen who are first generation. What we see is usually when we review our past study, you usually see the factors people try to examine, factors related to retention or factor related to graduation. We try to combine this together and want to see, I see that student retention is short-term goal and graduation is their long-term goal. We want to see the same set of factors, how they relate to their short-term goal and also their long-term goal. See what's the change there. And it's very interesting information you will see in the later. And we also know student engagement. You from NASI, FASI, those studies, we know student engagement, student-faculty interaction, all those are related to student success. But our survey's sample response rate is very low, so that's why I couldn't bring up those information here. And also we know students, their number of their attending advising tutoring, and if they are in the early alert system, all those maybe can contribute to the student success. And starting from here, I'm going to focus more on our study. And particularly, I'll show you something the database, how we built and we made cleaning. The literature review, I don't want to spend more time on here. It's very documented in the literature if you Google. It's a student retention, you put student retention, first year retention, graduation, first generation. It's a lot, particularly from federal study. And most likely as a first generation student, they are underprepared academically, financially, socially. This is very apparent. Also, there's a lot of factors such as their demographic information, their academic performance, high school, first year, first for college, financial status. All those factors can contribute to their if they're successful or not. This is a conceptual framework we used for this study. Think about if you are a new freshman. Before you join the institution, you came to the institution, what you can bring to this institution is your pre-college, your personal characters, your age, are you adult student or you are just a graduate from high school, your gender, your race, ethnicity, are you underrepresented minority, or are you in state, out of state? And also your family background can contribute to the fact to your success too. Your parents' educational level, either side, your father, mother, and if your family are lower income or not, if you're living in the big city or you're from a rural area. When students join the institution, particularly in their first fall semester, their performance is the key to make them success. Their term GPA, their student credit hours different. What I'm talking about different is the difference between their attempt credit hours and their earned credit hours. We tend to find if you run just their total attempt hours or total earned hours, sometimes it won't tell you the whole story, but the difference will. And also if students take remedial courses and how many, if students are resident in their county tiers, change or not, and also the factors from financial aid. If they apply to FAFSA, if they are Pell recipient, if they have a scholarship or not. So under those two big performance indicators, and we also know there are other academic social engagement or factors support students' success, like their peers, their community, and their particularly learning community, also their student-faculty interaction and others. But those we cannot bring to this study because of limited data resources. And then we bring on this all to model, and we want to see how those factors reflect their 4-4 retention and their 6-year graduation. Building the database. So this is I think for us, we spend a lot of time, and it's very important. We are a small institution. We do not have an ODS, a data warehouse to hold all the historical data. So before the study, we have to build our own database. We spend 2 months in the summertime. Let me see if I can show you this one. Can you see my Excel spreadsheet? Hello?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So what we did is, you see the green color? Green color is their demographic information. Our banner started for 2007, so we started building cohort. FT active freshmen started that time. So what we did, we put like their entry term, their cohort, their banner ID, their name, their age, their gender, race, ethnicity, which county they're from in the state, and housing on campus. So this is we call the demographic information. So moving to the right side, the blue part is their high school performance. We bring their high school GPA, their class rank, SAT, ACT score, and also which high school they from. And also we try to, initially we try to measure their distance from high school to university. So we know this variable maybe contribute, but later we didn't use that. Also ABIP credit if they are from early college or not. The third part is their full performance data, their major, their term GPA and cumulative GPA. We bring them both. and their full-term attempt hours, their earned credit hours, and their cumulative GPA. And also here is their academic standing only in the first four. If they have a distance education courses, and also if they have remedial courses. So this is four data. We bring the same thing in the following spring. The only thing we added here is if they come back in spring, yes or no. We have maybe 10 to 15% of students, they just drop off in the spring. The similar information in the spring, and then we put a flag here. If they coming back in the next fall, yes or no. And then if they graduate within the 6th year, yes or no. The other last part is the financial aid. We have another data set. We ask for financial aid information, and later we just bring up here. Another part is we have another separate database. We hold all the course information. Each student, all the courses they taken and their grades. We have another study used by another faculty just to do the course taking pattern. So I won't show here. We excluded international students. There are several reasons. We have very small number, and also we think international students, their academic patterns is so different from a majority American students that we take them off from the database. Another one is a student who dropped off before their in the fall or in the spring. We have to take them off because we limited some academic performance score. Here is the independent variable we use in the study. You can see demographic by all those I just showed you. If it's yes or no, it's a categorical variable. You see when we also for this one, full-term GPA, we did both numeric and also categorical. We want to see which one is contribute more. But later we're gonna only put one, either numeric or categorical in the final regression model. And
makes sense.
The model's dependent variable, we use all the factors wrong. So the first year retention is model 1, and the 6th year graduation is model 2, two model, and the same set of variables. So this is some basic codings I just want to put here. It's this is how we group the age. We tried several times. We think this is the best way to represent all population. And underrepresented minority, and be careful this one how you define underrepresented minority, because UNC system they included Asian. And the first generation is we only can identify them who applied financial aid, and then based on their father or mother educational level. Lower income families, same thing. If you do not apply financial aid, those students will be coded as unknown.
Can Hongyu mute your microphone? Hongyu.
Rural area. This is very unique in North Carolina UNC system. Starting in I think years ago, UNC system developed a 5-year strategic planning. They try to use the county, they call it county tier, to measure student success. If student from county tier 1, county tier 2, you are coded as you are from that area. They try to increase more students from those areas. And particularly, we know when we run data, we use county information. Some counties, they might have very small student. So I think a county tier can group them and make more sense for us. This is the, if you go to NC Department of Commerce, this is you will see. County tier 1 and county tier 2, they are the rural county. And the dark one, 3, they are from the big city. The red spot is ours. We are very close to North Carolina. 20 minutes driving, we will cross the boundary. And in the North Carolina, there's total 100 counties. There are total 100 counties. Among them, tier 1, we have 40 tier 1, tier 2, 40, and then 20 in the tier 3. They based on 4 factors to measure this: average unemployment rate, median household income, percentage growth in population, and adjusted property tax. So if you are interested in those information, just go to the web link I provided. You can find more information. They do assessment every year. So there might be change next year, but it's very rare. And another thing we try to code it because everyone we know full-term GPA is very important. So we did a 2 type of score. One is we use numeric and versus categorical. This is the categorical how we define this, because we try to see how students from this different GPA level, how they perform related to their retention and success. And also the others, you see the term DFW, we use both type of factors and remedial courses. And another one is the decision, major decision. The assumption is the majority of our staff and faculty, they will say, okay, if you do not choose your major, the student do not choose their major, they turn to leave. We want to see if it is true. And also same thing for the difference of their student credit hours. This is the model we run. Before we run the model, we run some descriptive analysis for those non-returning students. We try to see if the frequency analysis can tell us something, and then we run each individual factors related to retention and 6-year graduation. We want to see the single variables, if they're significant, either negative or positive, contribute to the model. And either one is significant, we're going to bring them in the final model, and together we will see how they relate to. The limitation of this study, because we are regional university, is very diverse. So we know factors related to student retention and success is very, very different based on your institution, your student population, your institutional type, and other factors. So those factors may have a significant impact on all students, may not be can generalize to your institution. So be careful to use those factors. And also another thing is our first generation student, as I mentioned before, we have to identify them through a FAFSA application. Those who did not apply, we have to put them on now. And this is the only, we do the 6-year graduation, so we only use cohort from 2008 to 2010. So the 3 cohorts may not apply to current student body. Those are non-returners. Let's see what we can find over there. The first one for this green arrow. Our male student, we only have 40% of a male student. You see the percent of leaving, we have more than 50. So we know our male student, particularly white male, they have a retention issue. And also here, the total, still higher than their average. Another thing is, we see this too. Our percentage of African American student, we have a 35% African American student and 15% of American Indians. Those level, you see those percentages are lower. Maybe it means more students from those 2 groups stay here. Another thing, if you look at high school GPA, we know high school GPA is the most significant factors in most institutions. The assumption is that if students have a lower GPA, like in the lower quartile, they may choose leaving. But how about the student if they have a high GPA? You see here is 26.5%. Students have a high school GPA 3 and larger than 3, between 3 and 3.5. So we see this trend before, and people make the assumption, I think it's true. Let's see if it's true. And also in state, we will see we have only little bit more than 3% of students from out of state. But here we have more higher percentage of students from out of state left us. And also academic standing. You see here 57.6% of students with good standing left. See the major decision below with the blue arrow. 85% of a student, even they choose the major, they still left. So all assumptions, I don't think it's true if we just see the frequency here. Let's see our model. I don't want to focus more. This is our model test, the evaluation score, assessment score. I think fairly is a good model. This is for first year retention. If you see this p-value, and also the overall accuracy is all around above 70%. This is the 6-year graduation model. I want to focus more time. Let's see the each factors. This is an individual variable we run. You see this part, each individual variable we run with first year retention. And then the same variable we run with the 6-year graduation. We have a lot of variables like living on campus, SAT, ACT we run, but it's not significant to either one, so I didn't show up here. We see the age group, significant for both first year retention and 6-year graduation. We see male, gender is negative, and particularly for 6-year graduation, for the long run, for the long term. Race ethnicity only bring up American Indians and Black African Americans. They are only, you see, they are only significant in the first year retention, not for the long-term 6-year graduation. Minority is the same thing. Residency, because we have a high 97% of students, they are in-state. So this number may not, I think it's it may not say something like true story here. Tier county, tier 1, tier 2, it's very interesting. We will see we are located as tier 1. So it's negatively related to first year retention, also long-term run 6 year. And also it's all significant for tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. And below is the 4-term GPA. We'll see all the 4 group. 4 group is highly significant related to their first year retention and the 6-year graduation. Below is the 4-term DFW. It's yes or no. It's categorical and remedial courses yes or no. And the low income family, first generation plus times low income family interaction. Another thing I want to mention is that you see the 4-term GPA, this is a numeric, it's also highly related always. And also the high school GPA always. And the difference between, difference between attempted GPA and earned GPA. And also 4-term DFW report. So we bring all those, either one, you have if factors significant related to first year retention or 6-year graduation, we bring them to the final model. So this is the variables, we test individual variables. They all significant. So we bring them in the final model. This is the final model. We use the variables test those who are first generation, FT freshmen, who are first generation. It's interesting, you will see some change. For the age, before individual, they significantly relate to both. First year retention, 6-year graduation, but here we only see relate to first year retention. Male student is not significant anymore. It's not significant anymore. For the race ethnicity group, particularly for African Americans, they are highly significant. We have a large group of students, a large number of student group graduate from this group. So it means they perform better in this institution. And also county tiers, there are some very interesting things. Did you remember I mentioned county tier 1, they all negatively relate to retention, predicted retention and student success. But here, when we add in other information factors, it's turned to positive. Another thing I want to mention is that is Tier 3. Tier 3, particularly here, we know it's all significant predicted student success, either retention or student graduation. But here it's not significantly related to anymore. And then we think about in our institution, we have a huge number of senior students leaving in their last year. And those student majority from Tier 3 counties. This may be the reason contribute to the change here. And the next group is the full-term GPA is categorical. When we see all those performance indicators, we know it's highly contribute to their success. So we know performance is the key. Particularly if you see this in the long term, the high performance is better. It's strongly predictor. For the full-term DFW, the course DFW score and also their remedial courses, and they are not significant anymore. For major, if they decided and not decided, even they decided, it's not a significant contribute anymore. So our assumption, majority by majority faculty is not accurate. Low income family, it's contribute to the early stage, but I think it's also the long term. Pell recipient, their scholarship and grants contribute to their retention, but not graduation. High school GPA, still strong predictor, but not strong as when we test as individual factor. And also plus the difference credit hours is a negatively. So I think the less is better. The less is the better. So here's the summary of what kind of variables relate to, this is the first year retention. Being a African American student, you're from county tier 1, your full-term GPA is all 4 category subgroup. You are low income, high school GPA, the difference between attempt and earned student credit hours, the county tier 2 and 3. If you have a scholar, you earn awarded scholarship and grant, and also the age equal larger than 19. This is factors relate to first year retention. And this is the summary for factors predict for student success. Being American students, very strong. Full-term GPA, very strong. County tier 1, high school GPA is medium. And also low income and county tier 2. So what the conclusion we can get from here is the performance. Student performance is the key. Whatever support, advising, tutoring, student support, we try to engage more with faculty, with other peers. All those support services we provided, we try to improve their performance, academic performance. That's the key. This is how we express, when their student performance, particularly in high school and the first fall, they are the best predictor for the student success. Also, the difference between student attempt and earned credit hours, the less is better, the higher they have a more higher risk. For first generations who are from rural area, those from county tier 1, county tier 2, they have the positive impact on their retention and graduates at our institution. It's very interesting because we have very high percentage of those students from there. I think 75% of in-state undergraduate, they are from rural area in North Carolina. But students from tier 3, they only positive predict their first year, but not the long term, their 6th year. We know we have some students transfer out in their last semester, and those majority from tier 3. First generation student, if institution can award their scholarship or grant, I think it's they show positive, can have impact on their retention. But we didn't see here for their long-term goal, 6-year graduation. If they are from a low-income family, we always know they have a negative impact, both for retention and also 6-year graduation. There are some generally, if you look at a literature review, there are some general factors we know is most often contribute to student success, like SAT, ACT score. The higher maybe a student can be more successful in their first year, and also living on campus. But sometimes, as I mentioned before, this is not the case at UNC Pembroke. SAT, ACT score we test the individual is not contribute to either student success and retention and student success. Living on campus, we think about these variables. Our chancellors years ago tried to enforce all the freshmen living on campus, and his idea is I think is a student can engage more and maybe increase the retention, but this is not our case here. We proved this the studies for him, because we have three besides our campus dorm. We have other 3 big apartment complex owned by a private company. Those are only 5 or 10 minutes walking distance. So that's why I think this factor, we can explain why it's not a case here. Remedial courses, and one of my colleagues recommended us next time when we run take off the W, only use the DF. So maybe it's a better, I think it's a number here. Major decision is not an indicator here too. Further study, so since we have very high, during the 6-year time period, we have a higher percentage of transfer out, particularly in the first year and their senior year. I think this is maybe we need to focus more and see what kind of student left us and where they went, using the data from National Student Clearinghouse. Another potential influential factors we can add it is we know in our system who attended those advising tutoring sessions, who were on the early alert system, and also we can add them in the study later. And also we know in this study, high school GPA is highly associated with retention and student success, but not SAT, ACT. Maybe later we can put those 3 scores together, use a high school, they call it high school index, produce as a 1 score, and put in the regression model and we'll see what's going on. So this is my study. If you have any questions, you request the copy of the PowerPoint, just send me email. And any questions? Thank you very much.
If you have any question, please unmute your microphone. You can ask, or you can use the chat function to ask Chunmei.
Hi, Chunmei. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, this is Xiaoyan. Really nice presentation. Really nice research. I have 2 questions actually, because you said your campus introduced the 3 softwares, right? So when you did this research, which one did you use to get their final findings?
You mean my study or currently?
Yes, the study you just presented.
We use the database we built by ourselves. Either one you cannot. The Rapid Insight, the best way is to bring the percentage of the probability attrition and assign the score to each student. This is a predictor to inform the decision making. So we know before freshmen came on board on campus, we know who were already on risk. But for this study, we built by our own. EAB is only can show you the numbers there, but there's no data set for wrong.
I see. Okay. Yeah. And the second question is, did you have any action plans after you finished the research? Have you ever talked these findings with your senior leaders or do any marketings for your for your findings?
Okay, good question. When we finish this one, we have 2 studies. Another one is a course taking pattern. We share this one with all our advisors, tutors, all the deans, chairs, and also all top leaders. I think this is very important, information to share. As long as I know someone are interested in information, I just send them the PowerPoint. Also, I post all my presentation on our IR website. They know when they talk to me, I'm the one always talk about retention and student success. So yeah, I think it's very important. That's why I think our institution will start a new initiative we call University College. They're going to bring one-stop service to all the new freshmen and new transfers.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Any questions? Okay, someone asked the sample size. And the number of the predictors like. Let me show you. I think it's you can see here. Here's our total 3 cohort groups after we took off international student and those students do not drop off in the fall. The total we have a 31, 50, 51. For the first generation, we have total 1393. Michael, did I answer your question? Difference. Another question is from TC, and he asked any difference in performance accurate prediction among the 3 model. Any difference in performance? I don't know what you mean. Can you talk about more details, TC?
Yes, I'm interested to see like from different.
I'm sorry, I cannot hear from you. Hello, TC, I cannot hear from you. Hello? I think I lost him. I'll put my office phone number there. If you have questions, you can always call me, give me a call. It's 910-521-6295. I'll post it on the 910-521-6295. Yeah, it's my office number. Just give me a call. It's another question from TC is Rapid Insight and EAB. Rapid Insight is typically give you the, I think the best from Rapid Insight is you can assign each student risk score before they came in the first fall. So you know which group student they are high risk or medium risk, so you can better inform your advising team, or if you have a college opportunity program, those programs to better serve those population, or you have a learning community. EAB is more interactive, used by advisor. When advisors search their students, they see they have a higher risk. They can contact student, meet them, ask them, help them. So this is EAB, I think, more used by advisor. And Rapid Insight is more like give you ahead how those students at risk before they came in the first fall. The sample size, we used everybody, only excluded those international students and who dropped in the fall.
Hello. Hi, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Ling, and I'm looking at the table. So under the 4-term GPA, the third group, which is the 4-term GPA between 2.5 and 3, the exponential of the coefficient is largest among all 4 groups. So it seems that this group, I'm talking about the first-year retention. So it seems that this group has a higher first-year retention among all 4 groups compared to the baseline. So if you get a higher 4-term GPA, you are less likely to stay after the first year. So what do you think that might be the reason for this?
We know for the lower performance student, they're gonna leave us. This is definitely, everyone knows about this. For the good performance student, I heard from a lot of advice they talking about. When student came to them, they just tell their advisor, I'm going to leave. I just come here because they, for example, they applied NC State or ECU and they couldn't get in. And they came here and then maybe build up their GPA, and later they're going to left for those maybe a little bit better, have a better reputation than us, and then or better program, and then they go there get a degree from there. This is a very typical. So sometimes we just wonder, we are 4-year institution and we have a hard transfer out percentage. So this is not the profile we try to make a change. We understand this happened for several years, and particularly start for 2018. UNC system has a 3 campus gonna have a we call the NC Promise. It's a UNC Pembroke, East Elizabeth State University, also Western State University. Those 3 universities, we have in-state student only pay $500 a semester. Out of state pay $2,500. So we hope those tuition deduction, huge deduction, we will attract more students from the lower income and also the rural area. Also, I think we need our faculty staff work so hard together to improve their performance. Did I answer your question?
Yes, that's great. And what the follow-up question: what is the distribution of these different groups? These 5 groups, like how big is each segment roughly? I mean, of course.
You're talking about how many of the students in those groups?
Yeah, for each GPA segment, how big is
can you send me an email later? I can show you. I do not have the numbers with me right now.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
thanks.
I do not have detailed information with me right now. Just send me an email and I can provide more detailed information. Another Hongping asked, how about those missing data for ACT, SAT? We transfer all the ACT score to SAT. If it's missing, we use the median to replace them. And any questions? Eric?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, I think that's all the questions. So I think that we can, that ends this presentation. Thank you all for presenting, and then we will have another presentation next Friday. Thank you all.
I also provide email address there. Just send me any questions if you want to know more. Thank you. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Yeah. Have a good weekend.